Hello everybody, welcome again to Wine Free Wednesday, your midweek moment to pause and just decide that we're going to make Wednesdays wine free. Why? Just because, right? This is one of the things I teach is all about being intentional with our drinking. There is not a problem with having a drink, but it is a vastly different experience when we drink to a plan versus we just say, I'll see what happens. So today I want to pick up on something that I was coaching on recently. It's a one of those very small moments, and I thought it would be of use and of interest to anybody who follows along here. And it is what I'm going to call a core scenario of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 words. I just want to let my hair down. Right? That's what we want to think. So I was out, this particular client, it actually doesn't matter what the scenario was, but the feeling was I just want to let my hair down. And you might feel that way when you go out and about. You might feel that way on a Friday. You might feel that way if you've had a really stressful time and you say, I just want to kick back. I just want to let my hair down. And it is such a common pattern. And here's the thing. Instead of it being a light-hearted night, I want you to think about this. When we're having this kind of thought, it's going to turn into extra drinks. Why? Because if you don't have the extra drinks, or if you don't have the drinks when you're thinking, I just want to let my hair down, you're going to be having a feeling that you don't like. Now, a lot of people might call this, you might feel deprived, right? If you're thinking, I want to let my hair down, but I'm not going to. And in this particular case, we came up with the words, you will be left wanting. And I think this is such a brilliant way of describing it, because I want you to think about it. What the sensation, I want you to put yourself in the scenario where you're feeling left wanting. All right, just want to let my hair down. And if I go ahead with however many drinks it is that you're on your plan, or maybe you haven't even planned and you're not going to have many drinks. Maybe you say, I just need to really be good, but I'm going to be left wanting. This is so common because when we don't want to feel that way, and so our brain goes to, well, we don't want to feel left wanting, so I guess that must mean that our idea of having more drinks is a good one, even when it goes against what you want for yourself. So in this scenario, when we're thinking, I just want to let my hair down, saying no not only feels like willpower. By the way, it doesn't have to, but a lot of people go straight to willpower. I just want to be good. I've just got to get through this. I've just got whatever, by hook or by crook. But it also really feels like you're missing out. That's kind of like the supra emotion there. And worse than that, it's kind of like this is a self-inflicted thing. But here's the thing I want to offer. Being left wanting, if you're in a scenario where I just really am left wanting, that isn't actually a problem, right? You don't always get the car you want, or maybe you do, but in my opinion, you don't always get the car you want. You may not always get the house you want, maybe because you straight up can't afford it, or maybe because the house you really want. I remember having there was this house when I was growing up, it was the house I was going to have when I grew up, and it's not for sale, so you can't have it if it's not for sale. Or maybe you want people to behave in a particular way and they don't. And all of those things, we don't always get what we want. And that scenario, we could be feeling left wanting, right? But it's what we do with that emotion that matters. So the next time you have this thought, right, along the lines of, I just want to let my hair down, with the subtext being, and if I don't, I'm going to be left wanting. Here are I've got some prompts here. I've got about 5 or 6 of them. You might want to jot them down because I think these are quite valuable. You want to ask yourself, and anybody who's watching, if you're watching and you want to join along with me and answer the questions in the chat, I can answer them for you. So here's the first question. What is it about having a drink that signals you are letting your hair down, right? I'm letting my hair down when I have a drink. What about those two things does it signal? What is the connection there? Right? It's the first thing to think about. Here's the next one. What does letting my hair down actually mean to me? I just want you to think about that, Because you go out for the evening, you go to the bar, or maybe you come home and you're just at home, you and your spouse, you say, I just want to let my hair down. And there's kind of this automatic translation that goes on. That means have a drink or 3. But it doesn't have to be that way. So we want to think about it, really answer it for yourself. What is it you're looking for in that moment? It could quite literally mean you actually want to take your hair down, right? Maybe you've had your hair up all day and it feels really constrictive and you want to have it all down, flowing over your shoulders. I don't have long hair, so I don't get to do that. Maybe it's your code word for, I want to put my feet up. And when we talk about wanting to put our feet up, I always say to my clients, if you have that thought in the evening, literally do it. Take your feet and put them up. Right? It feels very different because this is part of relaxing. So I want you to understand that what does really letting your hair down actually mean? What are all the things? If it automatically means drinking, with our logical hats, we know that that doesn't really make us relax, even if it does temporarily. So what would it mean? Would it mean having a cup of tea? Would it mean just going off and shutting yourself off in a room and not talking to any of the family for 20 minutes because you've been talking all day at work? What are all the things that letting your hair down means to you? Other versions of it than having a drink. And then you get those things so that the next night when you come in and you have that thought, I want to just let my hair down, or next time you go out, you have this ready-made list of other things that you can do so you don't automatically go to the drink. Because being prepared for the excuses, being prepared to face these challenges is what makes it easy for ourselves, right? It's not like we're going along and thinking, oh my goodness, all of a sudden I'm wanting wine. That's a real surprise. No, we want to expect it. We know it's going to happen. So what does letting your hair down really mean to you? Here's the next one. You might react to this. So what if I'm left wanting? Why is that such a big deal? Right? I genuinely want you to think about that. So what if you're not having the wine tonight and you are left wanting because everyone else is drinking? So what? What's the big deal? I want you to see if you could just not make that a big deal, how much easier it would be. You don't have to like it. We don't have to like everything in life. Right? When I first started doing these, the idea of going on video was like, oh. And now it's normal and I kind of enjoy it. I like interacting. I like doing this. But it didn't start that way. So I don't want you to expect to start with you'll like the idea of being left wanting. Because you're saying, well, I want to let my hair down, but I'm not going to have a drink. Just try it out. And why is it such a big deal? It really isn't a big deal. My clients, by the way, always tell me that. When I set them a little challenge, I had a client this week, or last week, set her a challenge of doing Sober Friday. We don't use the word sober. I don't. She does. So Sober Friday. And she said, Anna, it was lovely. It really wasn't a big deal. But just the idea of it, right? That's what happens there. Here's the next one I want you to think about. The next reframe. How would I feel if I allowed myself to feel left wanting, right? If I didn't fight it, I just said, okay, I'm just going to allow myself right now to be in this desire. And I didn't mean it, something had gone wrong, right? So this is a slightly different to the last one. The last one was, what if I'm left wanting? Why is it such a big deal? This next one is, I'm just going to allow myself to do it. I'm just going to feel it. I'm not going to have the drink. I'm going to feel left wanting. And then the last one is, what could I learn about myself from this? Oh my goodness, there is so much we can learn about ourselves. This is why rules, hard and fast rules, don't work in the long term for many people, because we're taking someone else's rule and we're trying to make it for us, right? So we want to just see, what could I learn from myself? If you could be continually fascinated with yourself, why do I do the things I do? Why do I go for the drink? Why do I say I just need to let my hair down and believe myself and then find myself pouring the wine? Why? The more you get curious and really answer those questions, the more you'll learn, and then the easier this gets. So really your takeaway today, unless anybody has got comments, if you have comments, drop them in. I'm happy to answer questions. I've got another 6 minutes I'm going to be here for. You do not need wine to let your hair down. If you're somebody who said something or something along those lines, the real freedom, because I think what we're looking for there is, I'm free to do what I want. The real freedom is giving yourself what you actually want and not needing the wine to be the thing that helps you do that, right? The real freedom is to say, what I really want right now is to sit down on a comfy chair and not have to listen to anybody. And maybe I'm going to watch this TV show that, for me, it's EastEnders. It's kind of like my EastEnders fix. No one in the family gets it or likes it. They don't have to. When I watch that episode, I really enjoy it, even though it's kind of dodge, not the sort of thing you maybe want to own up to, Anna. Right? But this is how I relax. This is what letting my hair down means. So that is it for this week. I will finish by saying this is the kind of work. So we take these little phrases and we take what it means to. This is the kind of work I do one-on-one with my clients because everybody is different. Right? And if that's what you want, if you think, okay, I've been following along, I like what you're saying. If what I say makes sense, if it resonates, it needs to resonate. Go ahead and book a call with me, a discovery call. We'll just chat about where you are and where you want to be. And even if you're feeling scared or you're feeling this might not work or any of these things, I want you to allow yourself to feel that way and then just go ahead and book and we'll chat. Right? And it'll be a no strings attached, and you will leave the call, even if you decide, no, I don't want to proceed, you'll leave the call knowing a lot more than you did going in. And this is, I like to say, this is a way for you to say yes to yourself. So go ahead and do that. If you have, in the meantime, questions or comments, go ahead and add them below. As I say every week, Facebook removes these lives, so they now reside on they will be moved to my YouTube, 90 Days Later with Anna Charles YouTube. Otherwise, thank you for being here. I've got a couple more minutes. Does anybody watching want to make a comment, want to ask me a question, ask my advice, want coaching? I'm very happy to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to go off and make fish cakes for dinner. Yum, yum. I think that's it. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, did I? I should have mentioned, I'm running for Sober October, this thing called the Freedom Lab, right? Where I'm sick and tired of same old, Sober October rules, be good for 31 days. Thou shalt not drink. I'm not going to do any of that. It's going to be about experimenting, learning about yourself, trying things, finding out what works. And in my world, if you want to come in and do alcohol-free for 31 days, great. If you come in and say, I just want to learn a little bit about myself and I want to learn some tools and get stronger and more confident at drinking less, great. Right? I'm not subscribed to any one particular way you have to be. Okay, so that's it for this week. Thank you very much for joining. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.